I genuinely be forgetting how much of a prodigy Aang is, and a lot of people hype him up, and I still don't think that's enough. Never really thought about this, but he absolutely would have been able to fly without his staff if he had just let go of his earthly tethers. He would have been a 12-year-old flying airbender.
I came across this video from D-Rich, and while I agree, I thought a good question wasn't really can the avatar fly, but should the avatar fly? For example, getting rid of emotional attachments such as love is one thing, but should they get rid of other desires and tethers such as creating a better world, finding balance, being the gate between the spirit world and their world? A couple of years ago, CBR had a very similar video on YouTube where they essentially discussed that Aang couldn't willingly go into the avatar state because of his feelings for Katara. And then this was mirrored with Zaheer, who couldn't also access flight because of his feelings for Pli. But when asking those questions about Aang flying, we have to kind of bring them back to Zaheer, and it reminds me of the Kay and Skittle series Politics Bending that they did a few years ago. So this series covers how Zaheer and the Red Lotus were representations for anarchism, but they weren't very good representations of the political ideology. Zaheer's brand of anarchism was based on the universe's tendency towards entropy and chaos, rather than any ideas of mutual aid, dismantling the oppressive hierarchies, etc. And if you bring it back to the question of flight, it really doesn't seem like he had any tether to the people he was apparently trying to liberate. There was no desire from him to really be a revolutionary, and there wasn't any love behind what he was doing. It seemed like he was just creating these catalysts for change without thinking what would happen at the end, and really wasn't interested in being on the other side of this so-called revolution. Now, it has been a couple of years since I've seen The Legend of Korra, and I think the language is a bit muddy between desires and tethers. They're not really synonyms for each other, so it is difficult to kind of compare the two. That being said, it is very interesting to think about what it would take for the avatar to learn how to fly, and would they be able to really give up the desires, and would it impact their role as the avatar, or would their role as the avatar prevent them from doing it entirely? It also circles back to Zaheer and his representation, and just the representation of anarchism in general in the show, as I do not think he really was a good representation, because he had no love for the people he was trying to liberate, and really the tether that kept him to the world was purely just his friends and loved ones. There wasn't really a bigger goal he was working towards that kept him tethered that I think the avatar would have had.